We had two big hearings this week on the IG report. You probably didn't know about it if you're relying on the mainstream media. But they were important hearings because they showed two things. Director Wray, the FBI director, continues to be completely out to lunch when it comes to his ability to comprehend and at least publicly reassure the American people that he understands the corruption at the FBI. I penned an op-ed piece for FoxNews.com I encourage you to refer to. But when you look at his testimony and his press conference last week in response to the IG report, his focus is, well, this is just one of thousands of cases that we had a big issue with. Well, it wasn't just one of thousands of cases. There were the most important two cases the FBI had in its recent history, the Clinton email case and the Russia case. And we now know the Clinton email case was infected by this approach that, A, the leadership was anti-Trump, pro-Hillary Clinton, and B, they were just going through the motions because they knew no one was ever going to be prosecuted, so they were just doing a pretend investigation. Director Wray doesn't think that's a cultural issue for the FBI. I would disagree. You had the FBI director, the the deputy FBI director, Peter Strzok, who was the lead FBI agent, who finally was just walked out of the FBI headquarters in a supposedly stripped of his security clearance after these new emails or text messages emerged where he said we have to stop Trump from being elected. Outrageous. And Director Wray's response is a big yawn. And what's ironic is how much of the IG report Judicial Watch, or how much of the issues raised in the IG report that Judicial Watch is investigating and litigating on its own. The IG report talks about Andrew McCabe, the disgraced deputy director of the FBI who was fired for misconduct, for lying, allegedly. We exposed what was going on with McCabe last year through our own litigation. We exposed the fact that he secretly recused himself from the Clinton email investigation, despite the FBI saying he had no reason to recuse himself. The IG report finally disclosed that, yeah, it was a secret recusal. Well, we exposed that last year. The FBI, the IG report talks about a top Obama DOJ official, Peter Kadzik, who gave a heads up to John Podesta, who was running the Clinton campaign, about the Clinton email case. Judicial Watch is in litigation over that. And of course, you've got the Peter Strzok, Lisa Page emails or text messages. Judicial Watch is in litigation for that too. Of course, we're being stonewalled on all of it. And that's another good point to remember. Because if the FBI and DOJ had taken this IG report seriously, why is it they were obstructing justice and obstructing Congress and withholding this material from Congress? Why is it they don't want to turn over any of these records to Judicial Watch and are stonewalling us and fighting us over silly things in court? I mean, you wouldn't believe the petty fights we have to get in with the Justice Department to get basic information just about where they're looking and what they're going to do and how long they're going to take the search and what they're going to release. As I often joke, we have to sue to get the time of day from these agencies, the FBI and Justice Department. And if they took this corruption seriously, they'd be seriously transparent about it. But they're still fighting Congress. They're still fighting Judicial Watch in court. Congress is threatening subpoenas and impeachment of Rod Rosenstein over basic information about the origins of the Russia investigation targeting Donald Trump that we know was infected by bias as a result of this. Well, we now have additional reason to know was infected by bias as a result of this IG report that showed that 5 FBI agents, at least 3 of whom worked on the Mueller investigation, hated Trump's guts. We know Comey hated Trump's guts. McCabe was beholden to the Clinton cash machine. What's going to go on with the Mueller investigation now? We had all these hearings. I haven't heard much in the way of anyone in Congress saying maybe Mueller needs to be shut down as a result of his investigation being blown up by this IG report. Well, wait, we're told there's another IG report coming out on Mueller. Are we going to wait 2 more years for the IG to tell us what we already know, that the Mueller investigation is compromised as a result of anti-Trump bias, among other problems? Well, Judicial Watch isn't going to wait. We just sued just this week for the text messages of Mueller Deputy Andrew Weissmann regarding Trump and Clinton. Now, who's Andrew Weissmann? He's the number 2 under Mueller. He's known in the media as Mueller's pit bull. And so he's a controversial prosecutor. He went after Enron. I think he tried to indict Arthur Anderson, destroyed the company, and that effort of prosecution was overturned 9-0 by the Supreme Court. So he has a controversial record. He's known as a hyper-aggressive prosecutor, but he's also an anti-Trump, pro-Hillary Clinton partisan. How do we know that? Judicial Watch exposed it through its litigation. We asked for the emails of acting Attorney General Sally Yates, the Obama holdover anti-Trumper who was acting Attorney General for 2 weeks under President Trump until she was fired for failing to uphold and defend in court President Trump's lawful order to ban certain immigrants temporarily, or certain refugees temporarily, or immigrants temporarily from terrorist-associated countries. And Andrew Weissmann, we found, sent an email to her. I am so proud and in awe. Thank you so much. All my deepest respects. Yates was fired over her misconduct that Mr. Weissmann was in awe of. President puts out a policy, perfectly lawful on its face, perfectly defensible in court, and the acting Attorney General of the United States refuses to enforce it? And he supports it? And then it turns out, the Wall Street Journal reports, he goes to Hillary Clinton's election night party in New York, the big one. Can you believe that? How many election night parties have you gone to, citizens? How many have you gone to? Activists go to election night parties. Politicos go to election night parties, not career civil servants in the Justice Department. And this guy is number 2 in Mueller's operation. You bet we want his text messages, because if they're anything like Peter Strzok's text messages about Trump and Clinton, who knows? And isn't it interesting we can't get the time of day again on this basic information? We're not asking for anything personal. We're asking about 2 of the most consequential political figures recently, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, not President Clinton. We also want his calendar entries. Justice Department stonewalling us. We asked for these back in December of 2017. And we just wait, so we've been waiting 6 or 7 months to sue. This is your Justice Department. It's a black hole when it comes to transparency. But Judicial Watch is doing, again, all the heavy lifting in court on this. So, you know, we have this big IG report here. I brought it out again for you. Look at this thing, 500 plus pages. And it's the tip of the iceberg. We know it's the tip of the iceberg, because we've got the litigation in court. They still haven't turned over the text messages. We're asking for Comey records, still getting the runaround on that. They went up to 2 years to turn over the Strzok page text messages. 2 years. Inexcusable. Jeff Sessions, Rod Rosenstein, they need to step up and start being transparent. If they won't do it, the president needs to intervene.